For centuries, gold has defined power. Empires rose because of it. Wars were fought over it. Entire economies were built on the belief that gold was rare, untouchable, and impossible to create. But what if that belief was wrong? What if the ability to make gold already existed and was quietly forgotten? Not hidden in a secret vault, not destroyed in a fire, but ignored because it arrived too early for the world to understand it. Long before modern science, alchemists were obsessed with a single dream: transmutation. The idea that one element could be transformed into another. Lead into gold. Common matter into wealth. For most of history, this was dismissed as fantasy, mysticism, fraud, until the 20th century quietly proved something uncomfortable. Atoms are not fixed. They are not permanent. They can be changed. Every element on Earth is defined by one thing: the number of protons inside its nucleus. Change that number, and you change the element itself. This realization cracked open a door that had been sealed for thousands of years. In the early days of nuclear research, scientists discovered something strange. When certain elements were bombarded with particles under very specific conditions, their atomic structure shifted. Mercury, bismuth, platinum. Under intense energy, these elements could briefly become gold. Not symbolically, not theoretically. Real gold atoms. In laboratory conditions, gold was created. The dream of the alchemists wasn't magic after all. It was physics. But here's the part that almost no one talks about. This invention, this process, was not celebrated. It was not commercialized. It was quietly abandoned. Why? Because the cost was terrifying. To create a microscopic amount of gold, the energy required was greater than the value of the gold itself. Particle accelerators, nuclear reactions, massive power consumption. From a financial standpoint, it made no sense. But from a scientific standpoint, it changed everything. Gold was no longer sacred, no longer untouchable, no longer natural in the way people believed. And that was dangerous. Because if gold could be made, then its value was an illusion, a social agreement, a fragile belief. Governments understood this instantly. If gold lost its rarity, entire monetary systems would collapse. Reserves would mean nothing. Currencies tied to gold would destabilize overnight. So the invention was classified as impractical. The research was redirected, and the world moved on. But the idea never died. Today, we know that stars create gold through nuclear fusion and supernova explosions. Gold is not born on Earth. It arrives through cosmic violence, which means the universe itself is an alchemist. And humans briefly learned how to imitate it. Modern scientists still experiment with transmutation, but quietly, carefully, under layers of academic language. Because the question is no longer can we make gold. The question is, what happens when making gold becomes cheap? What happens when energy becomes abundant? When fusion becomes stable? When particle manipulation becomes precise? At that moment, gold stops being treasure and becomes material. And when that happens, the real value won't be gold. It will be the technology that can create anything. The forgotten invention was never about wealth. It was about control over matter itself. And maybe that's why it was forgotten. Not because it failed, but because the world wasn't ready for what it meant. Because the most dangerous inventions aren't the ones that destroy things. They're the ones that change what we believe is impossible.